Okay, Romford Film Festival, day three? Day three.
So,
Could be. Feels like we've been here
let's go for
forever.
it.
Sure. Day three. So would you go down the line, introduce yourselves, your roles, and your respective productions, please?
I'm Henry, and I play Benji in the film.
I'm Neil, and I played Professor Parker.
Hello, I'm Lauren and I play Lucy.
I'm John, I'm the DOP.
And I'm Jonathan, I'm the director, writer and producer.
Brilliant. We'll start with a question for everybody, kind of take it in turns. Now that you've seen your film played on the big screen, how are we feeling? What are your thoughts? How coming down off of seeing that sort of thing? What's everyone feeling?
Well, I loved it. This is, I think third time watching it, and it just gets better every time. I really enjoyed watching it, especially on like the first one when I was like remembering everything, and I was really discovering the plot again and going, oh wow, I remember filming all this. It was just such a great experience to watch it because it's been such a long time since we filmed it. So yeah, it was great to see everything come together.
Yeah, it's the same with me. That's the third time I've seen it now, and I'm just still astonished at how cinematic it looks. Obviously, when we shoot it, we're just in a house, and things like that, and it just, But the scale, seeing it on the big screen is just really fantastic, and I'm not getting anywhere near bored of watching it.
Yeah, likewise. It's just joyful watching it. And I think the score just brings it all together. The music is just phenomenal, and it just looks absolutely incredible on screen. So it was really, really awesome getting to see it all come together and come to life.
Yeah, I think it really kind of captures the magic of cinema really nicely, and it was a really small budget, really small crew. It was essentially just felt like a group of friends getting together and doing what made us want to get into films in the first place. So seeing it in somewhere like this, wrapped up and presented as you say, cinematic, it's amazing how much of a movie you can make by a bit of hard work and effort and passion from a lot of really enjoyable and intelligent people.
Yeah, seeing it in a cinema setting, that's when it feels like a movie. As Neil said, it doesn't feel like that when you're in the moment, and putting it together is a struggle. But seeing it obviously with cast, crew, friends, that's when it feels it was worth it, and it makes sense, and it holds up.
Definitely. I mean, first of all, congratulations to everybody. That was amazing. I think we can all agree that was brilliant. Starting as a question for you, the director, take us back right to the beginning. What was the initial sort of the spark? What was the point of inception for this film? I think anyone else can answer as well.
Actually, I remember being here a few years ago at Romford Horror,
Okay.
and being asked what have I got next, and it was a flicker of an idea at that time, which was a 80s throwback film with that Spielberg kind of influence. And so it's nice to be able to come here a few years later and it's done and we can watch it all together. In terms of where that started from, it was just that I saw those old 80s nostalgic sci-fi films that I wanted to recreate and do a modern take on that, but not necessarily with an American backdrop, to have something local that feels more rural and British, which you don't have. So that's where it came from.
Definitely. And speaking of the location, I mean, it was amazing. Where was that, and what was sort of the process of finding sort of the right location that felt like it fit the story?
Sure. So myself, John, Neil, we're from West Sussex, and that's on our doorstep. So all of those locations were shot throughout Sussex.
Okay, cool. And sort of speaking of, more of a question to the cast, sort of when were you all sort of brought on respectively, and sort of what were your reactions to the script, and sort of what was your time like on set? That's kind of three rounds of them.
I got I think it was just after Christmas, and my mum came to me and she was like, oh, there's this audition that you can do for a film called Stargazers, and I was like, I'll look at the roles, and then I looked at the two roles that was for like my age group and for boys, and it was obviously Jack, who's the other character, and it said in the description that they had to kiss a girl, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I did not want to do that. I was like 11, so I was like, no, thank you. So I went with the other one, and then after getting the audition through, I was like, oh, this is me. This is 100% me. And then after getting the role and looking at the full script, I was like, this was the right decision. And it was great that Leo got the role of Jack as well, because he was just such an amazing guy to be on set with. He was so funny, and so was everyone else on set. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it was great. It was a great experience.
I came on quite early. I'd worked with Johnny before, and I'd also co-written with him before, and I know he was very keen to make his first feature. And I said, "Oh, you make a horror. I've got to make a horror. I've got to make a horror." And I really tried to press him to make a horror. And but his heart was never in it. He wanted to make this film. But yeah, I came on board quite early. I was actually present at both Henry and Lauren's audition. I was reading in. I was already cast, so I went on to the auditions and read in with all the other actors. I really enjoyed it. I got to, I like that I got to work with the majority of the cast as well. I think it was possibly only a couple of people I never worked with, but I got to, got scenes with you. It was an absolute pleasure. It really was.
Yeah, so I had the pleasure of working with Neil on a short film prior to this, and so that's how we connected previously. And then, Neil contacted me and was kind of like, there's this awesome opportunity which I think you would be great for one of the roles, and then kind of put it on my radar, and then I came down and auditioned, and I just loved it. I thought, from the read-through, I just thought, this is so exciting. I've never played an alien bounty hunter before. How awesome. Not my usual casting type, but why not? So it was just so interesting and so different. I thought, this is awesome. I have to be a part of this. It just sounds so unique, so special, not like your run-of-the-mill kind of stuff. So I thought, I knew this was going to be a really special project from the get-go, and it was. And like Jon said as well, it was just everyone, you know what it's like when you're making indie films and the hours are long and we're short on time and we got to go with what the weather says. We can't just afford to be like, oh, okay, we're just going to do this on another day. We just make it work. And it was just awesome, and we were all so invested and also passionate about the story and about, it was just a really, really good group of people, and it was just a really, really enjoyable process from start to finish.
I mean, and it's turned out amazingly, I think, because of that. And I was going to ask, what is it like to play an alien bounty hunter?
Oh, it was so much fun. It was real fun. And I think that's why I connected with the character from the get-go, because I never saw her as a girl from the start. I never saw her as Lucy. Obviously, it takes the name of Lucy, but it was always an it. It was always an alien. It was always something otherworldly. And I think that was just super, super fun to get into the headspace of and play with and think about, voice and physicality and, all that kind of fun stuff that, you don't really get to do when you're just playing, this is girl, Lucy, mid-20s, something. It was just,
You don't get that on Casualty.
You don't get that on Casualty, do you know what I mean?
Why aren't there aliens on Casualty? I think that would improve the show vastly.
There you go.
Speaking of the aliens, what was the design process like for the heads of the creatures?
So the alien mask was designed by a company in the States called Immortal Masks.
Okay.
That's actually a design you can request.
Oh, no way.
So they do some really state-of-the-art masks that are somewhat affordable. And looking through their catalogue, it was a Cthulhu mask, but that one seemed to feel alien-like. You can request it in different colours and different styles, and so it took about 10 weeks from start to finish, because they make it from scratch and then they send it over.
I mean, it looked amazing. What was the reaction when it arrived to set finally? What was the initial to see it in person and see it on a person?
Well, I'll let you answer that, Laura.
We had a costume day, didn't we? I remember, and that's the first time I saw it. I think, was it Jack?
Yeah, Jack was right.
Jack Roper, who plays the alien in alien form, he was there and he modelled it for the first time, and we just kept going, He was just very excited, really liked it.
Yeah, it was so gross. Like, it just looked really disgusting, and it felt really disgusting too. So it just really felt very otherworldly. So yeah, it was awesome.
I think it came through perfectly on screen as well. Oh, now I've got one other question. Sorry. Question for you. Sort of being sort of an incredibly lead role at such a young age, how did you find that? Had you done anything sort of at this magnitude before?
Not at all. No. Before that, I was doing just sort of short films and student films and stuff like that, and you know, getting the role and being like, I'm in like this feature film was so cool, especially at like a young age. I think must have been like 11, but that was like, wow, you know, because I started the acting thing. I started doing that through like theatre groups in my local area, just doing like small plays and stuff, and then around, I don't know when it was, but the person that led the theatre group gave me an audition for this show, and then after that I was like, I want to pursue acting on the stage, like on the screen, sorry, and I want to do that, and I never really thought that I would get to this sort of place where I'm actually in films, but it was just, I don't know, just it was amazing. It was really amazing.
Absolutely, and I think it is definitely amazing. I think maybe it deserves a little round of applause, maybe, for yourself.
Thanks.
Sorry, you mentioned that this was your sort of feature debut. How different do you feel it is, like working on a feature than it is working on shorts?
I'd say shorts don't help you much when putting a feature together.
Okay.
In terms of, I wanted to make sure that the production quality was high, even though it was a low budget feature, which is why meeting Jon was such a big part of that, and having a reliable and experienced cinematographer was able to bring so much to the screen that went beyond what my expectations were. Because I was realistic in knowing that going for a debut feature, it's going to look a certain way, but I was more than impressed with the result of that, and that's one thing to get a good DOP on your film.
And how did the two of you meet, and was this the first collaboration, or is this one of many?
Yeah, it was our first. I think that Jon brought me on board because my graduation film when I was at film school a while ago was similar in some context. That it was also, in fact, the model spaceship looked almost identical to the Valley, and that was kind of what got us talking. We both realised that our early inspirations were very much these kind of films. Since then, I've been shooting a lot of different kinds of things, but we realised that what we wanted to do was try and create something that had the same look and feel as those late 80s action-adventure films, but with a bit of a modern kind of edge on it, so it could be its own thing, because as Jon said, they're very American, that cinematic language that we're used to with that, so we wanted to find something that feels inspired by it, but isn't entirely copying it, has the same kind of texture, but also doesn't feel boring to a modern audience that's used to a bigger colour grade, brighter colours, higher contrast, lots of flashy effects, Marvel movies, etc. So yeah, we wanted to find something that we thought felt like that, but would still be relevant to people that are watching it now.
And did you find striking that balance quite difficult? Was it a lot of time in editing, or was it a lot of time sort of working with the script to sort of try and find that good balance?
I think the key to that was what I believe is what makes all kind of short, low-budget films work, which is to just embrace the things that make it difficult. For example, we're not trying to make it look like we're in America. We're in England, as Lauren said, it's raining. All right, we'll shoot in the rain, it's going to look great. And I think that's kind of what makes the film work and what makes the cinematic language understandable to the film, that it's just, it is what it is, and it likes to be that.
And speaking of some of those difficulties, what were some of the challenges that you faced during production, and what sort of lessons have you been able to take away from those moving forward? That does go to everyone, by the way, if anyone has any specific issues that they faced.
I think, Jon, you might be best.
No, I'm interested to hear what you think.
What challenges did we overcome? I think probably every filmmaker can relate to that. You could always do with a little bit more money, time, resources, but probably it's a similar answer to what I said before, is to just work out how that is what the style of the film is. For example, there's no CGI, and in part that's because we couldn't afford any, and in part because it wouldn't have had a place in the film anyway. So I think that it didn't really feel like we had any like challenges, because of that. It's like, okay, cool, this is what we're going to do. It's great. All right, we've not got much time. How can we do it short? We had a very ambitious script and a very ambitious shot schedule, and I think we quickly, like Neil and John, were having to spend days on set rewriting. Okay, we can't shoot that. Let's get rid of these shots. Let's think how we can make the scene work without that bit. So I think that probably the challenge was to just not let things that could feel difficult be a problem.
And sort of how long do you feel like the production took overall? Because we've had some films that have come in that have been like shot in 3 days, edited in a week. We've had some that have taken years and years of production and shot out of sequence. So what was that schedule look like for you guys?
Sure. So I finished writing the script late 2022. We were shooting in the summer of 2023.
Okay.
Production, principal filming took 9 days. It was very quick, and it was spread over 2 weeks or so. So it's quite intense. We then came back and did about 5 or 6 additional days after that. So realistically, the entire film was probably shot in about 16 to 18 days. And editing took, up until the start of the year when we completed it. It was still relatively quick in comparison. We were just waiting on lots of different things and availabilities of people to get things complete as well. Because the challenge of doing a film on a budget is waiting for everyone else's availability, especially during post.
Sure.
And you have to allow them, if commercial work comes in, that takes priority over what you're doing on the film. So there's a lot of moving things around and having to be patient.
Okay. And over that sort of period of time, what were some of the standout moments? What were people's sort of best moments on set, best times that were had?
I think initially meeting Leo, that was really great for me, because after like reading the scripts, I was like, oh well, I'm like Jack's best friend, so I was kind of nervous going in to meet him, because like if he turned out to be like this horrible person who I didn't want to work with, that would have been like the worst. I would have been like, oh great, but it wasn't like that at all. He was so nice. I think we met on in like an arcade. Jonathan set us up and was like, oh, we'll be shooting here. This is one of the places we'll hopefully be shooting, which we did shoot there in the end. And he was like, oh, just have fun, be kids. And we went round, played some couple games, got to know each other, and he was so great, just like straight from the start. And especially like moving on, getting to know the rest of the group and the cast, it was just amazing. I didn't really feel like there was anyone on set who I just loved everyone. Everyone was so nice, and especially for this being like my first major film as an actor, it was a great experience, and there's nothing I would have changed. It was amazing.
My favourite day was the day we shot the finale scene at the lake. I think that was the last day of principal photography, and it's just purely because everyone was there. We were in this gorgeous setting by this lake in the woods, and all the 5 leads were all there together in that final scene. They got to roll down a hill. The people whose land we shot on were really kind to us as well, and actually where our base was to sort of get changed and everything was quite a long walk to where we filmed, so they ran us there in golf buggies, which was really fun.
Nice.
It was just a really nice day because it was the last day of it was our finale as well as the film's finale. Yeah, that was my favourite.
Yeah, agreed. That last day was so much fun. Had so much fun doing that one, and the golf buggies were super fun. My other favourite day was the day that I was dreading the most, which was the nightclub scene where Lucy just really lets her hair down and has fun dancing, and I was just listen, I went to drama school, right? That I'm an actor who moves, never a trained dancer. So that just kind of filled me with dread and fear and anxiety. And yeah, I worked with this really amazing choreographer, Kerry, and we wanted to make it all, so we didn't want to make it seem like she's just doing a weird dance, like it was, you know, we wanted to make it really otherworldly and really odd and really weird. So once I kind of embraced that, it ended up being one of my favourite days. It was just like, right, can we go again? Let's do this. I've got an idea. And then suddenly I got really, really into it, and it was just very freeing, you know? It was just, yeah, really good fun.
For sure.
I think rather than a specific moment, I think what sticks with me the most is just the general tone of what it was like to be a part of it, because Jon did so well with writing something that I think speaks to a lot of people, particularly people perhaps of our generation that remember those movies and kind of miss it. I think that everybody that was involved was really kind and helpful. People seemed very willing to kind of go the extra mile. For example, the nightclub scene that where Lucy lets her hair down, they let me drill a light into the ceiling in the nightclub. No one's ever let me do that before. And everybody's attitude towards it was really, really great. It felt very much like playtime the whole way through. It was a nice balance of being able to do things quite professionally, quite properly, using good kit with great actors and doing what felt like a proper movie, but also it being kind of like loose and Indian film schooly, like, oh, we didn't have a proper light, let's just bounce it off this tarpaulin we find on the floor, and there's plenty of room for like silly low budget botches, which I kind of like, you know, and I just think to gaffer tape.
Gaffer tape is a universal fixer. I think also you've mentioned those sort of era of sort of like 80s films before. I'm going to put you on the spot now. Your favourite sort of 80s sci-fi film? Go.
E.T.
Classic.
Go with that. Goonies would be a close second, which are two big references for that.
For sure.
Certainly with E.T., with the mystery and the atmosphere and the environment and the themes behind that. And then Goonies just with how the lead characters are with each other and the relationships. And that was a heavy influence to try and create with Jack and Benji. But it didn't take a lot of effort to do that. And this reminds you of why you get good cast and with good chemistry. So you don't have to do anything. There was no direction needed for any of the cast. It all just worked as soon as they started.
I think you probably kind of move the question down a little bit. Sorry, one more.
Well, neither is it sci-fi nor is it in the 80s, but Jurassic Park has always been my favourite movie ever. And I think that we try to have a little bit of the cinematic language of that. You know, relatively simple shots that kind of let room for the actors to do their thing without being too overkill and too distracting. For example, the shot that's in the car, when the car and the camera is pushing back between the two seats as they're having their little kiss scene. That's very, very much like the T-Rex walks past in the Jeep. So there's a few little nods to that movie in it.
I guess I was going to say E.T. too, but okay, I know this isn't 80s, but there's a bit of kind of Hocus Pocus vibes as well in there, and I sort of took a bit of influence from that, and I know this is jumping way ahead, but I'm a big Helena Bonham Carter fan, so there was a little bit of Bellatrix I kind of nodded towards and took a bit of inspiration from in some moments, particularly the lake scene, kind of,
Explorers.
Okay.
Joe Dante, I think, directed it. Yeah, Joe Dante's Explorers, I think, is definitely an influence. And there's a bit of Back to the Future as well, because I'm playing a mad professor. So, yeah, a little bit of that.
For me, probably the Goonies. When I got the audition through, my dad was like, "Oh, this is kind of Goonies-like." So we watched that together. It was a really good film. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was young, I was like 11, so back then watching those kind of films that have like the old style, I was kind of like, oh, it's old, it's like my dad, I don't want to watch this kind of stuff. But I was like, I got to embody this character before like taping this, so I'm going to watch the film. And I feel like since then I've really opened to more older films. But yeah, Goonies was great, a really good film, especially for my character. But yeah.
For sure. I think we might open it up to the audience if they have any questions. Oh, we got one, we got two.
Okay.
Nice.
congrats on a great movie. You seem to catch a nostalgia in a bottle. All the performances were great. But Henry, your comedy timing is outstanding.
Thank you.
You did really, really well. You made me laugh throughout the whole of it. You were my
Thanks.
favourite character in it, so thanks for that.
Thank you.
Questions for Jon and anybody else. Did you have any moment where you thought, Christ, this is never going to work? What have I done? How much money have I wasted? What is happening with my life? Will my wife leave me? My children would disown me? Because that happened to me, so I'm just wondering.
Oh, the
Yeah,
horror.
all of the above. If this was a self-funded project, and so there's a lot of responsibility when you put a big cast and crew together, and then you start to feel, gosh, what have I done? There's a lot. This is all because of me, and I have no one to sort of explain but myself. This is all my own fault. But seeing it on the screen and fitting together, and luckily I edited the picture as well, so I was able to really take time with that and make it work. Cut some shots and scenes that didn't work, that didn't flow. And I feel that, yes, it was worth it afterwards to see it all come together, and all those late nights of editing, late nights of writing. Most shoot days, they don't know, but I would drive home and think, should we be doing this at all? They loved it, but I said, this is so much fun. They may have loved it, I didn't experience it the same, so yeah. But seeing it obviously in front of an audience, in a cinema setting, that's when it feels worth it. But gosh, does it take a long time to get over that initial feeling.
I think there's one more. Strange one there.
First of all, Jonathan, so good to see you back. Also so good to see you going from shorts into features and making such a stunning feature as well. This is a fantastic film. Having said that, all the money in the world, you all just mentioned a bunch of films and you're not allowed to use any of those films for this question.
Uh-oh.
If you could remake any classic movie and there's only one human character and everybody else is a Muppet, what classic movie would you attack?
And not using any of the references we just said?
Not allowed any of them, that's cheating. I don't make the rules.
But you do.
So to Muppetize the film.
Yeah, one human character.
Okay, from that era. Sorry, I need a few more
Any
like
era.
ground rules. Any era. Oh gosh. Well, it Muppets in any film will improve it. So I'll go with Saving Private Ryan. Who's the human character?
Yeah.
Tom Hanks, of course. Is that for everyone?
Everyone.
Absolutely.
I really don't know why, but the first film that came to my head when you said that was Titanic.
Who's the only human though?
Who's the only human?
Rose.
I don't know, I think maybe the only human would be the one dude that plays the violin at the end.
Yes.
I love it. I'm going for The Ring. And yeah, because I think Samara would be a cool Muppet. The only human can be Naomi Watts' character.
Goldfinger.
Good thing.
Yeah, James Bond is the human.
Yeah.
Everyone else Muppets. Yeah. Muppet Odd Job, Muppet Goldfinger. Brilliant.
For me, it'd either be the entire Harry Potter series or Lord of the Rings. Because I think that'd be really funny, especially with Lord of the Rings, if Gandalf was the only human and just like everyone else Muppets.
Yes.
Same with Harry Potter, the only human Dumbledore, and then rest Muppets. I think that'd be great.
Absolutely. I think those are all stellar answers. I think running out of time, so one more round of applause, and then thank you to everyone.